So trying to jumpstart a program that's about finding your direction in life. It's crazy how hard it is to actually come up with the words to tell you about the program and where I hope it takes us as a group. I was going to start off by saying something like, where do I start? But I guess that's probably okay, because where do we start with all of this? The world is so crazy. Everybody is so confused. Nobody really knows where to look, who to listen to, what to believe. We've all been so gaslit for so long. But I can't say that it just started. We really started being gaslit from the time we, from the time that we came into being, whatever that was, whatever time that was it at conception, was it at birth, whatever it was, that's when we started really getting a script written for us, and those labels start to get put on us. When we first probably learned how to talk and we tried to start communicating with people, and if we got a big fat no, or that's wrong, well, that starts to shape your behavior right off the bat. We learn instinctually what's going to get us praise, what's going to get us love, what's going to get us a hug, what's going to get us a cookie. And we try to, with our little forming minds, try and figure out how to replicate that behavior so we keep getting that positive reinforcement. And that's really when our script starts getting written. It's heartbreaking when you think about it. And interesting to me that in the last, I say month, right? I've had the pleasure of meeting this little kid that started coming over here to see her grandmother's horse. She's absolutely adorable, but I can't say that I've ever been a huge fan of being around kids. I don't know them. It's not that I don't like them. I think they're fine, but I don't have kids. I have dogs and I have horses and barn cats and so it was just unusual to me that I felt such a fondness for this little kid. But because I think it's because lately I've been thinking more about what it was like to be that little kid and to just not be sure, because everybody around you is confused and they're trying to figure things out. So they may not always be able to give you, a thoughtfully well-crafted answer to any question that might have popped into your mind. But this little kid, it was so fascinating to me that, if you just show a bit of kindness, how it's just reciprocated 1,000-fold. And then, but before I know it, this little kid just won't leave me alone. Like, get off my leg, kind of thing. But it's such an honor when a little kid is extending that kind of trust and looking to you as somebody that they take comfort from. Because I look back on life, and there are people in my life that I love so much, and I love my parents, and they were just wonderful people, but they didn't know everything, and they had their own shit they were dealing with, and they didn't always make you feel safe. In a lot of cases, I felt like it was, my job to make you feel safe, to make them feel safe, oh, no, there's no trouble here. You just keep doing, you manage what you have to manage there. I'm good, and I didn't ever want to be the source of drama. So I essentially made myself invisible. It's funny how I look back on, and I always laughed at when people dressed as a bush and then scurried over and then sat back down again when they were spying on somebody. That was my childhood, essentially. And I always thought it was so funny when I saw it, but now I think maybe that was a little disturbing, a little telling now. But back to Wayfinder. I think you have to start off by trying to figure out, where am I? What am I looking at? And you got to be looking at you and start to do that deep dive into who you are, why you do what you do, why do you make the decisions you make, why do you make yourself small, why do you make yourself sick? Why do things trigger you? Why do you get mad when somebody makes a mistake? Why do you get upset when people don't fulfill commitments? Why do you get so angry? Why does it rip you apart? Why do your emotions become your identity? How did that happen? And we got to take the time to look at those things and help each other through it. I don't think that anybody should have to go through a journey like this on their own, because we need to bounce things off of other people, not to get validation. One of the biggest challenges I think all of us are going to have that, decide to take this Wayfinder journey is, how do we validate ourselves? Yeah, we can get information from other people. We can be discerning, and we can figure out if that, that doesn't really ring true to me. But there's going to be things that you feel the truth. Maybe there's nothing there to prove it, but in your heart and your soul that it sounds right. And we have to be able to validate ourselves and our decision, and the decisions that we make for ourselves, and the path that we choose for ourselves, and the script that we write for ourselves. We got to tell our own story. We've spent our lives letting somebody else tell us the way things were. I can't tell you the amount of times that I have been trying to convey an idea, and I've been told, no, that's not what you mean. I'm sure you mean this, or I think what I'm hearing you say is this. No, hear what I'm saying. Take that power back for yourselves. It's so important. Wayfinder will help you do that. I'm not an expert in life. I'm not an expert. But I'm here to help. And I'm taking everything that I have learned over so many years. I'll tell you what I've learned when I went through the process of dissecting these things and seeing them for what they really were and what they really are. We can't go back in time and change the past, but we can go back in time and revisit the things that shaped our identity and helped write our script. And we can challenge those perceptions. We have that right. We're not changing history, but we can change how we view it and how we view ourselves and how much we care for ourselves and what we accept for ourselves. I hope you choose to take this journey with us. I think it's going to be a beautiful journey. I think it can be a painful journey. I think it can be absolutely horrible, isolating, scary, but it can be so beautiful. Anyway, come visit us.